Imagine being the rightful heir to an ancient and majestic library, whose walls are covered with thousands of volumes written in a language of pure light that you have forgotten how to decipher correctly. Your body is exactly that library. Every single cell represents a sacred book containing encoded instructions for a perpetual, flawless, and divine regeneration. But the tomes have remained closed for so long that the dust of habit and the rust of stress have literally sealed their pages. We have been indoctrinated to believe that aging is an inexorable and cruel stopwatch, a biological sentence to which we must resign ourselves by paying constant tributes to the global pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries. But Thoth, the ancient architect of wisdom and scribe of the gods, whispers a radical truth that shakes the foundations of modern medicine. Decay is not an intrinsic failure of the system, but an accumulation of biochemical noise that obscures the signal of your original vitality. Think of a vintage radio. The music transmitted through the ether is perfect and crystal clear, but if the device is dirty and the frequencies are disturbed by external interference, you will only hear an annoying crackle that you will mistake for the end of the transmission, ignoring that the melody of your youth is still resonating in your DNA, waiting for you to learn how to clean the circuits to hear it again. This truth is so powerful that it is considered dangerous to the global economic status quo, because what is natural, innate, and free cannot be patented or sold in a prepackaged plastic bottle. They have sold you the lie of constitutional fragility, convincing you that your organism is a defective machine, programmed for failure, and that you are in desperate need of external chemical prosthetics to repair what they cynically define as inevitable. In reality, your body is the most sophisticated alchemical laboratory in the entire known universe, capable of transmuting the lead of tiredness into the gold of supreme vitality if only it is provided with the correct environmental, biological, and inner conditions. The ancient sages of Egypt understood that aging is not a death sentence, but rather a deviation from the natural and harmonic order of the cosmos, a sort of cellular forgetfulness. It is like a majestic garden that, due to a lack of pure water and the accumulation of parasitic weeds, suddenly stops blooming. The garden is not dead at all, it is simply in a state of nutritional stasis waiting for a conscious gardener to shine again in all its glory. The first step to awakening this dormant potential involves a noble gas that your body produces on command, an invisible molecular key capable of resetting your entire biology in less than 10 minutes. Leave us a like, with a hype that vibrates to the marrow, here, now, and I will know that you have chosen not to turn back and that your soul is finally in alignment with this inescapable truth. The core of this secret lies in nitric oxide, a gaseous molecule whose discovery was so revolutionary that it shook the palaces of science and earned the Nobel Prize in medicine. Imagine nitric oxide as the great liberator of your entire circulatory system. When released, it instantly commands the arterial walls to relax and dilate, allowing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to flow freely to the most remote capillaries, nourishing every single cell like fresh rain on sun-scorched earth. To better understand this biochemical miracle, visualize an ancient river whose current has been obstructed by a dam of debris, branches, and mud. The water stagnates, becomes cloudy, and the surrounding land slowly withers, losing its fertility. Nitric oxide is the dynamic force that breaks down that dam, restoring life, clarity, and nourishment to the thirsty fields of your complex organism. In your youth, your body is a tireless factory of this gaseous elixir, which explains your inexhaustible energy and the speed with which your body repaired every minor wound or inflammation. However, once the threshold of 30 is crossed, this production undergoes a vertical collapse, leaving your cells isolated and hungry. The aging you see in the mirror is the symptom of this invisible famine. But today you will learn to restart the turbines of your internal factory with an act of pure will and applied knowledge. The practical protocol for forcing this release consists of a 10-minute energetic dance that challenges modern laziness and reactivates your divine lineage through conscious movement. Think of a manual hydraulic pump in the middle of a desert. If you do not operate it with rhythmic vigor, the water will remain buried deep in the earth despite its abundance. The first sacred movement is the deep squat. By activating the largest muscle groups in the body, legs and glutes. You send a signal of maximum urgency to your heart, transforming your limbs into turbines that generate transformative heat. While your legs pump, your arms must move in sync with rapid and expansive gestures, as if you were cutting through the air to climb an invisible peak, ensuring that the blood rich in nitric oxide does not stagnate below but is pushed with force toward the brain and vital organs. But beware. The secret that transmutes this exercise into pure alchemy is exclusively nasal breathing. The nostrils are the alchemical laboratory of nitric oxide. By inhaling vigorously through the nose during physical effort, you are literally injecting the elixir of youth directly into your bloodstream. In a few minutes, you will perceive an electric heat and a subtle tingling. It is the tangible sign that your inner floodgates have opened definitively, releasing stagnant energy. To elevate this physical state to a metaphysical and universal dimension, you must synchronize your microcosm with the macrocosm through conscious integration with solar energy. The ancient Egyptians did not worship the sun as a mere physical object or a ball of fire, but as Ra, the supreme intelligence that transmits encoded information through the golden light that nourishes every form of life. Performing the dance of Thoth under the morning rays literally changes the vibrational structure of your biology, acting as a perfect tuning. Sunlight hitting the retina and skin acts as a conductor for your internal biological clock, suppressing the production of cortisol, the corrosive acid of stress that accelerates aging and corrodes your cellular tissues. During exposure, practice sun breathing. Inhale deeply. Hold your breath for 5 seconds to allow the nitric oxide to saturate every single muscle fiber, and then exhale slowly, as if you were blowing on a candle without wanting to extinguish it. This pause is the moment of energetic deposit, the sacred point where biology meets spirit. It is like pouring pure oil into a lamp. Without the pause, the oil overflows and is lost. With a pause, the flame of your vitality can burn bright, steady, and invincible, preparing the ground for the final connection with Mother Earth, the source that vibrates beneath your feet. However, no cathedral can stand without foundations firmly anchored to the ground, and your connection with the earth is the last forgotten pillar of longevity and radiant health. Imagine a sophisticated electronic device overloaded with static electricity. If it is not connected to a ground, its circuits will end up burning prematurely due to the accumulated internal tension. We are bioelectric beings living isolated from the ground by rubber shoes and synthetic floors, accumulating tensions that translate into chronic inflammation and cellular oxidation. Physical contact with the earth, known as grounding, is the secret of the ancients to discharge these electrical toxins and restore ionic balance. When you walk barefoot on grass, sand, or damp earth, the planet gives you an infinite flow of free electrons, the most powerful antioxidants in the universe. These electrons instantly neutralize free radicals, those unstable molecules that destroy your cells like small invisible bullets fired against your youth. Science and ancestral wisdom converge here. 10 minutes of direct contact with the earth after your physical activation stabilizes the heart rate and extinguishes inflammatory fires. You are now a perfect energetic circuit, feet anchored to the wisdom of the earth, body activated by movement, and heart turned toward the power of the sun. Gratitude is not an abstract feeling or a vague emotion, but a very powerful neurochemical intervention that Thoth considered the cornerstone of all transformative magic and deep healing. Imagine that your nervous system has two distinct and mutually exclusive modes: survival, where the body consumes itself to protect itself, and creation, where the body actively regenerates. Gratitude is the vibratory access code that instantly unlocks the creation mode, sending a signal of safety to every one of your cells. When you feel sincere gratitude for your body and for life, your brain floods the system with dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins, simultaneously turning off the destructive production of stress hormones. It is biochemically impossible to be grateful and stressed at the same time. The two frequencies cannot coexist in the same biological space. This mental state acts as a catalyst that enhances all the previous physical steps. Nitric oxide flows more effectively, solar energy is absorbed more deeply, and cells receive the unequivocal order to repair themselves. Without this mental ingredient, the protocol is just gymnastics. With gratitude, it becomes an act of biological alchemy that plants the seeds of youth in a soil made fertile by your elevated state of mind, and this transforms your every emotion into a self-produced medicine for your blooming. In this state of perfect harmony between mind, body, and spirit, you are finally ready to activate the sovereign molecule of biological rejuvenation, growth hormone, HGH, the true elixir that the elite tries to buy at its weight in gold. Your body produces it for free and in abundance if it receives the correct and unmistakable vital peak signal. After 10 minutes of preparation, when your blood is already flowing freely thanks to nitric oxide, perform a single sprint or an explosive effort of only 30 seconds at 100% of your real capacity. Imagine a lion springing for a primal instinct of hunting or survival. In those 30 seconds, your brain receives an evolutionary emergency signal and orders the pituitary gland to flood the blood with HGH to repair, fortify, and renew the entire system in anticipation of future efforts. It is an order for total restructuring that burns visceral fat, regenerates skin collagen, and sharpens your cognitive capacity. But remember well, this reconstruction army works at its maximum potential only in the silence of the night. Thoth's protocol prepares the ground during the day so that deep sleep becomes a true alchemical regeneration chamber, where your physical body is literally rebuilt atom by atom while your consciousness travels in the realms of dreams. Beyond biological mechanics lies the immense power of spiritual epigenetics. Every time you perform this sacred ritual, you are sending a chemical signal that travels to the heart of your DNA, turning off the genes of decay and awakening those of supreme longevity. It is as if you were rewriting your organism's software in real time, recalibrating the very structure of your material existence. Imagine your body as a liquid crystal. When it is intoxicated by stress, fear, and limiting thoughts, its molecular geometry becomes opaque, fragile, and chaotic, preventing the passage of light. Through dynamic movement, sunlight, and direct contact with the earth, you reorder the sacred symmetry of your internal water molecules, transforming your body into a crystalline receiver for higher cosmic energies. This is not just applied biology. It is a form of sacred architecture that shapes the flesh according to the desires of the sovereign and awakened consciousness. You are no longer a passive passenger on a train headed inexorably toward decline, but the chief programmer of a divine biological station. Consistency in this practice creates a cellular, vibratory memory that makes rejuvenation a permanent and radiant state of being, allowing you to maintain a vitality that defies the laws of linear time. Sleep is not a simple downtime or a pause from activity, but the fundamental and irreplaceable work shift of your internal repair team. Imagine a great metropolis that by day is congested by traffic, smog, and frantic noise. It is only at night, when the streets are finally deserted, that maintenance teams can repair the asphalt, replace electric cables, and clean the squares of accumulated debris. Similarly, your body uses nighttime hours for protein synthesis, the repair of telomeres, the protective caps of your DNA, and brain cleaning through the lymphatic system, which eliminates metabolic toxins. The growth hormone you stimulated during the day finds its maximum expression precisely in the phases of deep slow-wave sleep, provided that melatonin, the guardian of your rest, is not inhibited by the blue lights of artificial screens. Transforming your bedroom into a sanctuary of total darkness and absolute silence is essential to allow the nightly alchemy to take place correctly and without interruption. If you interrupt this sacred process with external stimuli, it is as if you forced your internal workers to suspend their work just as they were laying the new foundations for your physical and mental rebirth. To temper this new temple of flesh and spirit like the most resistant and pure steel in the world, one last beneficial shock must be integrated. The transformative power of extreme cold, the blacksmith's hammer that forges the blade. A 60-second freezing shower at the end of your routine is the supreme act of courage that teaches your nervous system to remain perfectly calm and centered in the chaos of daily life. The cold causes a brutal peripheral vasoconstriction followed by an explosive vasodilation that cleans the arteries and activates the mitochondria, the microscopic power plants located within your cells. This thermal shock stimulates the creation of new energy engines through mitochondrial biogenesis, making you not only younger but virtually unassailable by the environmental stresses that once would have brought you down mercilessly. As the icy water hits your skin, learn to breathe with deep calm, observing the instinctive flight reaction of your ego and choosing instead to remain present and sovereign of your physical body. This mental resilience is the true diamond that is forged under pressure, making you a centered, immovable individual vibrating with a health that radiates peace and power to anyone who enters your energy field. You now hold in your hands Thoth's complete and definitive map for your absolute sovereignty and the recovery of your lost youth. You are no longer a passive spectator of passing time, but the conscious architect of your eternity manifested in vibrating matter. This knowledge returns power to those who have the courage to practice it with consistency, freeing you from dependence on a system that profits from your tiredness, your illness, and your ignorance of biological processes. The cathedral is now clean, the light of RA floods the altar of your heart again, and the earth supports you in every step toward glory. Enter your temple and celebrate your eternal vitality. You are ready to rise from the ashes of mechanical habit and manifest your most daring, radiant, and unlimited version of latent human potential. Remember that every single cell of your body is listening to your deep commands. Give them the order to bloom, to regenerate, and to shine with the light of truth. True youth is not the absence of wrinkles, but the indomitable strength of your spirit reflected in the perfection of your flesh. Walk in the world as living proof of the miracle, carrying with you the wisdom of the sun, the stability of the earth, and the invincible purity of ice. I thank you from the depth of my being, knowing that your active presence and your choice to evolve are the very foundation upon which this mission of collective awakening rests. Support this truth with a like full of intention, subscribe to join our vanguard of free souls, and comment with the phrase, "My body is my sacred temple of eternal light," to seal this vibration in your manifest reality. May your inner coherence be the inviolable beacon that guides your every step toward the most daring, vibrant, and unlimited expression of your divine potential. May cosmic abundance resonate with your every new truth and your newfound vitality be the most precious gift you offer to the whole world. Inhabit your power and shine beyond every temporal limit, becoming yourself the living proof that youth is a state of consciousness manifested in matter. See you soon.